Roblox Doors is dying. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a while, and I think now is an optimal time to address this as the game is in a bit of a rough patch at the moment. You see, dear viewers, if we headed over to the Doors game right now, we can see it has quite a low player count, at least compared to what it typically was getting in the past. In fact, this player count is pretty much the lowest it has been in its entire life, which is definitely concerning as the game was updated just last month. Now, of course, it's likely the player count will spike back with the release of the next update, but I think we should reflect on the past and try to see what can be done to mitigate this problem for the future. So in this video, which I kinda wish I didn't have to make, we'll be looking at the decline of Doors in its current state, as well as what could be done to fix this in the future. So with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright. So first, I think we should compare how this game was performing in the past versus how it is now. Like a lot of Roblox games, Doors has a pretty predictable pattern when it comes to player count. It spikes as soon as an update releases, then it slowly creeps down until the next update, over and over again. In the case of Doors, the largest of these spikes occurred during the Hotel Plus update. And although spikes have been appearing with each following update, the general trend besides the release of Floor 2 is that the magnitude of these spikes has been decreasing ever since that Hotel Plus update. This leads us to right now, which is a period of time where the game is having a historically low player count. Much like how it's been happening in the past, this problem will fix itself with the release of the next update, which is believed to contain the garden subfloor. But there is a problem with this kind of player count trend which Doors isn't alone in. As I had briefly mentioned, many video games in general have this player count trend, where the popularity drastically increases during an update, then slowly falls until the next one. This issue is furthered indoors by how the game takes a very long time to update, with an update occurring roughly every 3 to 4 months. This can be detrimental in the long run for the game, as there are several periods of time where the game is underperforming, and it can also cause issues with people like me who use the game to make YouTube content. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm one of the only few people left still talking about the game on a regular basis. Now, unfortunately, there isn't a lot we can do to fix this issue in terms of making normal updates more frequent. Doors maintains a certain high-quality style that would be diminished if the game updated more often, so I don't think we should overwork the developers to maintain the game's popularity. Instead, I think we should focus on a few workarounds that may result in a desired effect. Let's take a look at one of the most successful games of all time, that being Minecraft, and see how they handled this same issue. Minecraft, as you may be aware, updates less frequently than Doors, with the game receiving new content around twice a year. Despite that, it regularly is in the minds of millions of people and remains relevant in media all over the world. So, how did they do it, and how can we use that to benefit Doors? Well, one technique Minecraft uses are snapshots. These are beta versions of upcoming updates players can test that feature new content, and they release about every week. This means Minecraft players almost consistently receive new content every week, keeping the game relevant. Now, of course, Doors does release a new teaser around every week for players to dissect, which fulfills a similar role as Minecraft's snapshot mechanic, but that doesn't really influence player count in any way as players can't really play the new content in a teaser. And given how Doors likes to keep new features mostly a secret so players can figure them out when the update does release, having beta test versions of updates open to players to test goes against the philosophy of the game. So, is there a compromise which could be achieved? Well, going back to Minecraft, a long while back they released something known as secret updates. These were relatively small weekly updates that added secret mechanics to the game that players had to figure out all by themselves. And not only does something like this fit in the realm of possibility for Doors given their small size, but it also doesn't take away from the meaning of the game, as it's up to players to figure out what was added. So, here's my first idea to help mitigate the problem of Doors' declining player count. Similar to Minecraft's Secret Friday updates, I think it's possible Doors could release small monthly updates that required players to hunt around the game for new features. They could even reward a hidden badge or something like that. Normal updates could still be a thing, but the existence of these mini secret updates could help bridge the gap in between a declining player count and the next spike that occurs in an update. And that just may help keep the game alive. Still, despite being small, monthly secret updates could be overwhelming for the developers, so what else could be implemented that requires less consistency and constant effort? Well, to answer that question, let's take a look at a game which I'm sure many of you are unfamiliar with. This is Bear, a survival horror game which I covered in this channel prior to making Doors content. This game has a feature known as daily quests, where each day players are given a random assortment of tasks they could complete in order to receive extra rewards. For being such a simple concept, this mechanic sure did work well to bring me back to the game every single day to complete those tasks. And given how they were randomized each day, they felt completely unique, as my tasks were different from the previous day. A system like this where players can continuously complete unique challenges could be implemented to Doors to make it so dedicated players have a reason to return to the game after completing everything. As right now, after obtaining every single badge, there is basically nothing left for you to do in the game, and this can help mitigate that issue. I will admit, though, that Bear's daily quest system was a little flawed, as after obtaining everything from the special currency it provided, it was essentially useless to attempt again. So, if Doors were to implement a system like this, it would have to contribute to either a goal that is very hard to reach, as that way players have to grind it out continuously at their own pace, or something that could be done over and over again with no diminishing purpose. Either way, a quest system like this would provide a daily stream of content for players to complete, and that may drive up attention for the game, as now players would have something to do after obtaining every achievement. However, with that being said, is there any way to reverse the death of Doors without updating the game at all? Perhaps a way of increasing the game's player count during spikes, so the trend of said spikes diminishing reverses. Well, I actually do believe there is a way, and fortunately, it's something the developers have been doing in the past, so it should be relatively easy to replicate. In both the Hotel Plus and Floor 2 updates, we received several video teasers on the Elsplash official channel of new content that was coming, and those just happen to be the two most popular updates the game has ever had, and I don't think that is a coincidence. So, I think a simple way to generate mass amounts of hype is to just tease the update more through video footage on the official Elsplash channel. After all, a lot more people see teasers posted there than anywhere else, so I do think it could be an effective way to hopefully get the game more popular when updates do roll around. All in all though, Doors isn't really dying. It's just kind of in a rough patch as of now due to a lack of updates, and hopefully that will reverse with the release of the Garden subfloor. However, maybe these rough patches don't have to be so detrimental if certain steps are taken to diminish them, such as teasing updates more on the official Elsplash channel, or releasing certain features that encourage long-term engagement, such as secret monthly updates, or a quest system that provides a daily stream of content. This video primarily just served to point that out. So, with all of that being said, thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.